Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wingcat Sports. And late to it this week, but I got back from Canada at like 11 o'clock last night. Um, Tigers weekly breakdown. Last week was a decent week for the Tigers. They won both their series. In fact, they won majority of their games last week, which makes it a little bit easier on themselves, right? They won 5 out of 6 games, swept the Boston Red Sox. It was a great series against the Red Sox for Tigers, winning 14-2, then 10-9 in extras, and then 6-5 the final game. And then the Blue Jay series was a good series, all one-run games. They ended up winning the first game 5-4, losing on a walk-off game 2, losing that game late, and then having a decent game against the Blue Jays the last day of last week, 3-2 win, making it a good week last week. They didn't start out this week too hot. We'll get more into the series, but because we did play it, and we can semi-talk about it. They lost 11-4 last night to the Cardinals, who are not the best team right now. They're currently 27-21, a decent team.
Yeah, they're a good team. They're a good team.
Not to the point of the Tigers. But anyway.
They're tough at home. Well, we still really don't know about the Tigers. We're all hyped and great, and it's an amazing start for them. I mean, you can't argue with that. But it's still very early in the season.
It is. It's very much still early. My whole goal for them is to go 40-20. If we can get to 40-20, I'd be happy. Is that going to happen? Probably not. They got to win their next 2 against the Cardinals. And then they're going to have a tough 4-game series against the Guardians.
The Guardians.
At home, at least. But they'll have a tough 4-game series against the Guardians.
Like I said, if they could split with the Guardians, I think that'd be great.
Right now, they got Skubal pitching tonight, so whether that's good or not, I don't know. Lately, they honestly have not been playing well when Skubal pitches.
They don't support him well, no.
Everyone else, they seem to support a lot better than Skubal so far this year. Skubal has not had a bad year, but he has no run support typically when he pitches, so we'll see how tonight goes. See if they can get a win. If they can win the next 2, that's great. And then it's probably splitting with Cleveland would be preferred, but if you can win the Cleveland series, you'll be in a very good spot.
That would be amazing. Yeah, 3. You mean 3 out of 4? That's tough to do.
I was that would be amazing. I don't know if they can do it, but that would be amazing to happen. They have an early game this week too against Cleveland. Their Sunday game is at 11:35 a.m.
Really? Wow.
On Roku. So unless you have Roku TV, you cannot watch them
on Thursday.
On Sunday.
Sunday.
They're on Fox on Saturday, and then they have a Sunday morning 11:30 a.m. game.
Okay.
So we'll see what ends up happening there. But right now they got a question mark on who's pitching Wednesday this week. I know Mize was officially put onto the DL today, 10-day, or 15 days, so he'll be out a few starts. On top of Reese Olson being placed on the 15-day injured list. So that's fantastic. 2 starters out, so I guess we are currently relying on Montero to do well, and then they're probably going to pull up somebody else, or we're going to have some bullpen days going.
Right. Well, like I said, this is when the injuries start. Let's see what happens. How we, we built ourselves a little bit of a cushion. But like I said, this is so early in the season, and still have plenty of time to blow it.
We'll see what ends up happening. Jake Rogers is expected to be activated today, so Jake Rogers will be back from the injury list. So that's a good sign right there. You got your catcher back, even though I think Dingler kind of might have pushed Jake Rogers out a little bit.
It looks that way. It does. Dingler's played very, very well.
There might be more time split. You might give Rogers a little bit more time coming back in, just be active on the roster.
Which is good because it's going to force Jake Rogers into a situation where
Jake Rogers always did well in clutch situations, but not overall. But we'll see how it ends up going. Other good news, Parker Meadows is expected to start his rehab assignment tonight as well.
Really?
So Parker Meadows is on his way back.
I would not send him back until he looks great.
And no recent news on Matt Vierling. Nothing since last week on the 12th. And same thing with Wenzel Perez. Nothing new on them being activated. But I would assume it's pretty soon since all these guys are coming around the same time. But we'll see what fully ends up happening throughout the week. going into kind of stats like we have been doing on a weekly basis, Spencer Torkelson still leading the team with 12 home runs, showing the power this year. I know he at least had one while we were in Toronto. Riley Green climbed up there too. He's only one behind Torkelson right now at 11. Carpenter's at 9. Baez has climbed the list. He has the fourth most home runs on the team at 6. So, I mean, Baez has had the power. He had a great week, especially a great series against Boston, 2-home-run game, including the walk-off that happened in the 11th.
Right.
That was a great game for him, and he's just showing why it's going to be difficult to have him sit down.
He isn't sitting down.
Because, again, you look at the averages of people who are starting every day. Surprisingly, Dylan Dingler has surpassed Baez at a 292. Baez fell to a 291 by the end of the week. It's below 300. But Dylan Dingler's batting 292. Kerry Carpenter leads the team apparently with the most games at a 284. But again, your averages are pretty good outside of even Colt Keith has kind of climbed himself back a little bit. He's batting a 222 currently.
He was below 200 for a while.
So he's climbed himself back into a more respectable batting average. And Jake Rogers coming back, right? He started the year, he had a 222. So we'll see if that climbs up. But again, Dingler might have pushed him out a little bit just for the offensive standpoint of things. And he's a top 5 catcher right now.
Right.
In majors.
You can't take that out. You got to keep this together.
So Jake Rogers, I hate to say it, but he also...
Dingler time!
Jake Rogers might be on the trade block come
that's
August.
the way it goes. If you found yourself a real catcher, great.
I know Dingler was supposed to be the guy who was coming up. Yeah, we weren't 100% sure of, but he has certainly found his bat. He's hit 4 home runs, batting 292. Currently has 17 RBIs. Not leading the team anywhere near that because 38 is the most. But he's doing pretty good at where he's at in the lineup, and there's not much you can say besides that.
No, I've been, like I said, this team has done pretty awesome. And last night's game was kind of disheartening, but
you're gonna have bad games every now and then. It's a long season.
When you lose that first game to win the series, it's tough.
It is.
So we'll see. Scooble should give us a job, and Flaherty looked a little better last time. So if we can get him to be pitching like he should, maybe we'll win the next 2.
Funny enough, when we're looking at the standings, Tigers obviously are still atop of the division at 4.5 games. Cleveland has dropped off after losing 4 straight last week. They are now 4th in the division at 5 games back, 4.5. Basically, the whole division is kind of stuck together, besides Chicago and Detroit. Detroit being up about 5 games, and Chicago being back about 12 of the 4th seed in the division. So basically, Minnesota, Kansas City, and Cleveland are all stuck together. Minnesota went on a 12 or 13 game winning streak for about 2 weeks.
Right.
So that's why they're back up there. But you're still sitting pretty well in the division in itself because you're still 4.5 games up overall in the AL, which is funny, or 3 games up, even though you have 4 wins above them. 4 games up in the American League, even after that bad loss last night. You just had that good of a week that you're making ground in between each team. And overall, again, at this point in the season, you can say you are the number 1 team by 1.5 games.
Over the Phillies?
Currently, the Phillies
got such... I mean, you got the National League has the Phillies, the Dodgers,
the Mets, the Padres.
They're just
the Cubs are playing well this year. The Giants are playing well.
Yeah.
And, you got the Cardinals who are coming up on the Cubs in their division right now, a game back, so they're fighting there.
But the team that goes to the World Series has the home field advantage if they're the better...
It's better record. They took away the All-Star, whoever wins the All-Star game. It's better record. So it's not something to look at. It's just something you can say for the Tigers right now. Because honestly, I could care less, but I'm not thinking that far ahead. It's a good thing to look at right now and just feel good about that you can say you are the best team in baseball at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just a good thing. But you are sitting pretty well in the standings. Again, you have a good week, right? If you can win the series against the Cardinals, and again, Cleveland's struggling, so you might be able to take 3 or 4 out of Cleveland. You would be sitting at a pretty good spot by the end of the week. That's about 5 more wins. And you're sitting at 36-19.
Yeah.
Which, again, is good.
We lost 1. We got, out of the next 6 games, If you can win 4 of those games out of the next 6, that'd be great.
Well, they got the next 6 you win 4. That'd be fantastic. We'll see if they can do that, which I think they could. But you're playing good teams. That's the only thing that sucks. Because after the Guardians, you play the Giants. After the Giants, you're playing the Royals. After the Royals, you get a nice 4-game break in Chicago against the White Sox. But then you're gonna come home and play the Cubs. So then you play a good team again, but then you play a bad team in the Orioles. So June, uh, it might be a good month for you because you play the Reds, you play the Pirates, you play the Rays, who are not doing so hot, the Athletics, who have played decent this year but below 500, and then you end the month against the Twins. So June might be a month where you can start putting a little bit more pedal to the metal and increasing
Well,
that win
I'm
total.
not even looking at records right now because it doesn't seem to matter to them. They seem to beat anybody. They seem to be playing really, really well, and they've only lost like 3 series.
Right now, it's looking pretty favorable, probably until in August, I would say. With current teams, I mean, anything can happen in baseball. People can turn it
I'm not
around.
scared of anyone. Come on.
But honestly, I'm not looking at the schedule. You have your opportunities to really. There's no stretch after basically the stretch we're about to go in that's difficult because you're going to get breaks. You're going to play a good team like September. If you look at the last month, if we had to go try to do something in September, 3 games against the Mets. That's not going to be an easy series. Then you got a nice 3-game series against the White Sox,
Right.
which now you're not
Should
that
be an
worried.
easy series.
And then you're going to go to New York
The Yankees.
and play the Yankees. Again, could be a decent series, not going to be the easiest. But then you're going to go play the Miami Marlins. Then you take a break. You
Yeah.
play without.
I'm not worried about anybody out there. I think the Tigers are good enough to beat anybody right now. The way they're playing, injuries are what scare you all the time, no matter what. It's just I don't want to see them get too many more injuries to their pitching staff. That would hurt, as it would anybody. We're all in the same boat in that sense. You just got to try to stay as healthy as you can, and hope the other guys pick you up that come back. Um, Man, that'll be a hell of a hitting lineup if Parker Meadows
Meadows, and again,
comes back and hits the way he did.
I'm
last
not
time.
worried about rushing Parker Meadows because I really don't know what's going to happen this year. Because
wow, could you see that? That would be you'd have a lineup in there. Maybe Riley Green at 3, Torque at 4.
Parker Meadows is probably going into top or bottom of the lineup. He's usually a leadoff.
Parker Meadows probably be about 6. Javi be 7. The way they're hitting right now. Oh
well, the problem is where you're going to put Javi. I think if everybody's not back, right, Veerling's not back yet, then you're probably going to put Javi at 3rd. But then once Veerling's back, how are you rotating everybody? Is this the question?
I don't think you could take Javi out of the lineup the way
you don't want to take Trey Sweeney out of the lineup.
Right. You don't. I'm just sorry. These guys coming back are just going to have to realize that, they're going to have to earn their way back in the lineup.
It's not good. That's why I think Wenzel Perez, he'll be in the minor leagues.
Like you said, we might see people trade it.
I think Wenzel Perez will be in the minor leagues for this year with how everyone's playing, barring injury, right? Once you got 2 people who are going to go down right now as people come back. Obviously, Nito's about to go down if Rogers is being activated. And then once Parker Meadows is activated, Malloy will go down. And then you're probably going to have to figure out once Veerling's activated, who else are we sending down currently in the lineup? Because right now it's all question marks. Who's on the team right now who really shouldn't be? Again, Malloy's probably going to get sent down because you're not going to have room for him. And outside of that, I really don't know out of the starters who you would send down.
No, I don't. It's going to be a tough decision for Hitch. So we're going to have to, like I said, that's a good thing that's a good problem to have.
Well, actually, Badu's on the team right now. I forgot about that.
Won't be.
So Badu. So you got Badu and Malloy, who will be sent down for Parker Meadows and Matt Veerling once they're ready. I forgot Badu got put on the team this week. That happened earlier this week after we made our video.
Have to bring up somebody for pitching. So
pitching wise, I expect probably Ty Madden if he's ready. I forget if he's hurt or not, or Matt Manning, whoever one of those guys who's not hurt probably will be coming up, or they're going to do a bullpen day. It's what's probably going to happen. Pitched by chaos like we did last year.
Yeah.
But we'll see what ends up fully happening. It'll be interesting in itself to begin with. So, but we'll end it here. Not a lot going on, right? We're just going to hope they keep playing well.
Who we pick up Mitch Marner?
That's a different video.
Oh,
right? This is Tigers. We're not talking Red Wings, but we'll see what ends up happening. We'll dive into some Red Wings stuff maybe later this week. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, share the video around. Let me know what you think about the Tigers. Until next time, see everybody soon.